Hello and welcome to Stampscaping 101. I just stamped out this scene in the previous video, and I'm going to add in some finishing touches to it, like I always seem to do. This is the Color Box pigment ink, Frost White, cotton swab, and I'm going to go in and add in some I don't know, I guess it's not, I'm not adding value to it, I'm kind of softening up some areas in here, some of the impressions with a thin layer of, I guess it's translucency, it's a light see-through layer of pigment ink, and you can see it's very, very light. It's a very thin layer. I think when people have trouble using the pigment ink like this, it's because there's too much pigment ink on their tip, or they're applying it in too dark of an area where it stands out too much and it doesn't look right. What I do is I often do it, I add it where light meets dark, okay? And if I'm doing a white pigment ink, the area has to be a little bit white, otherwise it doesn't look right. You know, this is supposed to be kind of light hitting kind of moisture, vapor in the sky, and it's being illuminated by that same color of light. In this case it would be a white one. I don't know, in the future I'm going to have to get some yellow and, you know, try it over, you know, kind of a warm sunset tone or something like that. But anyways, you can see here where that area of the moon is, you know, around it, you know, that sharper edge of the cloud is now being kind of, I don't know, there's a little bit of variation to it now. You know, you can see where I've kind of applied it here, but not over here. And I kind of like that. You know, I like to have some variation in there. Which doesn't always happen in stamping, you know, because we're always going for crisp imagery, so unless we kind of wipe off some of the stamp before we stamp it out, you know, it's always one value, you know, unless, you know, you can do other colors on there too, but, you know, as far as our impressions go, you know, a lot of times we're using just one color of a, you know, a stamp pad or something like that, and most of the times it's black. And this is a way to kind of go back in and, you know, add some variation to it. Again, this is where light is meeting dark, and I'm adding a little bit of this softness, a mist, I guess, that's being illuminated by the moonlight. You're adding, you're increasing the textural range of the scene too, again, by that element of softness. Alright, so, and that's kind of a simple approach. I'm not going to add any more. Well, let me see. Maybe there could be a little bit over here underneath the tree. Alright. I can't see that at all. Let me hold this up and see if you can see that right in there. It's kind of right back in there. See that little area that I've added behind there? And I like that kind of look. Alright, something like that. Soft texture, kind of a light on dark. This is a gel pen. It's a Uniball Signo pen. And let's go and add some highlights on some of these trees that kind of we start losing the silhouette of in the darkness out there. I add more closer to the moon, usually, more highlights, and as I get farther away, there are less and less reflected little areas. In this case, there are dots. Okay, so there's a tree that's So there's little highlights throughout here. It just kind of pulls the trees out from the background in a very subtle way. I mean, it's really kind of obvious when you get there because there's so much contrast between that little dot, but those little dots can do a lot. You can do the same for some of these clouds, maybe some of these clouds out here, capturing some of those, you know, that light, some of that, you know, stark white silver moonlight or whatever. And maybe some of this little grass area down here. It's capturing some of that. Oh, on the reeds. Okay, let's see. You see these reeds down here on the trees, and a little grassy area down here. You can see a little bit of those highlights and texture. You can see it from down here, going up into the trees. Here's some of those clouds. So they separate things in terms of space. You know, the reeds are kind of brought out from the background. Trees are brought out from the background, you know, from the sky. But it unifies everything with the use of common texture. Alright? Anyways, that's the Country Chapel stamp, the Cloud with Rising stamp. And if anyone else ever wants to see anything used in particular, just let me know via email or whatnot, and I'll try to get to it. Okay? Thanks for watching.